This is the video for Math Lesson 1.4. Today we're going to be talking about divisibility. Now, in your math message question, you were asked to answer which of the following numbers are factors of 36. Did you circle them? Which ones did you circle? Did you circle number 1? I hope you circled number 1 because remember, 1 is a factor of every single number. Did you circle 2? Sure, 36 is an even number. All even numbers are divisible by 2, right? Did you circle 3? Well, 3 can be kind of a tough one because if we think about our 3 facts, we don't normally memorize as high as we need to go for 3. We know that 3 times 12 is, right, 36. In 5th grade, we do want you to know your 12 facts. So cases like this, you would know that 3 times 12 makes 36. Did you circle 4? Well, if you think about your basic facts, we know that 4 times 9 is 36, so that would mean that both 4 and 9 should be circled. Did you circle 5? No. Numbers that end with a 6 are not divisible by 5. So 5 times nothing will make 36. How about 6? Yep. If you think 6 times 6 is 36, then you know. 7? Can you think of a 7 fact? 7 times 4 is 28. 7 times 5 is 35. 7 times 6 is 42. No, 7's not going to work out. How about 8? No, 8's not going to work out either. We know that 8 times 4 is 32. 8 times 5 is 40, so we're not going to hit 36. We already circled 9, and how about 10? No, hopefully you didn't circle 10. We know that numbers have to be a multiple of 10, so they have to end with 0. All right, so those are the following factors of 36 from this list. If you got them all, great job. When we talk about divisibility, we need to understand what that means. Let's read this paragraph from your student reference book, and then let's talk about what it really means. Divisibility. When one counting number is divided by another counting number, and the quotient is a counting number with a remainder of 0, then the first number is divisible by the second number. If the quotient is a whole number with a non-zero remainder, then the first number is not divisible by the second number. Now, what's that saying is this. If you have a number and you want to know if it's divisible by another number, you just divide it. And when you divide it, you look at your answer. If it worked out evenly, meaning there's no remainder, then we know that it's divisible. However, if you get an answer where it doesn't work out evenly, either you have a remainder or maybe if you're using a calculator, your answer is a number with decimals, then it didn't work out. And so we know that it's not divisible. Let's take a look at these two examples. 124 divided by 4. That equals 31, and the remainder is 0. Since there is no remainder, it equals exactly 31, then we say that 124 is divisible by 4. Now in the second problem, 88 divided by 5, if we're to divide that out, we get 17, but we have 3 left over. There's a remainder of 7, or a remainder of 3. Because the remainder is not 0, it didn't work out perfectly. So 88 is not divisible by 5. We want to know if numbers are divisible because, well, for many reasons, but one of the reasons why is because it helps us if we need to come up with all of the factors of a number. And there are some different strategies we can use to do that. And so here's one strategy that we're going to take a look at because this is a really good way to make sure if you are listing the factors of a number, it can help you make sure that you get all of the factors for that number and you're not missing any. So let's take a look at this strategy. To find the factors of a number, ask yourself, is 1 a factor of the number? Is 2 a factor? Is 3 a factor? Continue with larger numbers. For example, to find all the factors of 15, ask yourself these questions. Okay, always start with 1. Is 1 a factor of 15? Well, of course it is. 1 is a factor of every number. And I know this is true because 1 times 15 equals 15. The factor pair there is 1 and 15. So if I'm making a list of these numbers, I'm going to put down my 1, and I'm going to put down my 15, since they're a pair. But I'm going to spread them out like this because I know that 15 will be the largest factor of 15. That makes sense, doesn't it? The largest factor for a number will be that number. Okay, so I did 1. Move on to 2. Is 2 a factor of 15? No. 15 is not an even number, so it's not divisible by 2. Move on to 3. Is 3 a factor of 15? Well, if I think about my 3 facts, I know that yes, it is, because 3 times 5 is 15. 3 and 5 are a factor pair for 15. So I'm going to put my 3 on my list, and I'm also going to put my 5 on my list. Now I move on. Is 4 a factor of 15? Well, 4 times nothing will equal 15. 4 times 3 is 12. 4 times 4 is 16. So no, 4 does not work out. Now at this point, I don't need to go any further. Do you know why? Yeah, because if I ask myself, is 5 a factor of 15? Guess what? 5 is already on my list. So here is my list of factors for the number 15. 1, 3, 5, and 15. I have them nice and neatly organized from lowest to highest, and I'm confident that I have all of the factors. At this point, you need to take your notebook, and we're going to put some notes in. Your heading today is divisibility. So write down divisibility at the top, and pause this video if you need a few extra seconds to write down this word. Now, to make a list of factors for a number, these are the steps we're going to write down. Okay? So this is what you should be copying into your notebook. Start with the number 1 and ask yourself, is 1 a factor? If yes, put the number 1 on your list and its pair. Always put the pairs down. If no, move on to the next number. Of course, if you're asking yourself, is 1 a factor? Of course, it's always going to be yes. Is 2 a factor? Basically, is it an even number? If yes, put down the number 2 and its pair. If no, move on. Continue like this until you don't need to go any further. Remember, you can stop once you start bumping into numbers already on your list. Like we bumped into the number 5 when we made this list, so we knew we were able to stop then. Continue until you don't need to go any further. Pause the video right here if you need more time to copy these down. Now let's take an example, the number 24. Let's make a list of factors for the number 24. Also put this in your notes. Okay, now let's think about the strategy that we just talked about. Okay, we start with number 1 and we ask ourselves, is 1 a factor of 24? Well, absolutely it is. And what's its pair? 24. So we're going to put 1 and we're going to put 24 on our list. Then we move on. Is 2 a factor of 24? Well, 24 is an even number, so 2 has got to be a factor. Now, we might have to think a little, figure out 2 times what is 24, because we need to have the pairs down. If you know your 12 facts, you know that 2 times 12 is 24. So we're going to put 2 and 12 on our list. Then we ask ourselves, is 3 a factor of 24? Think about your facts. 3 times something, is it 24? I know that 3 times 5 is 15, 3 times 6 is 18, 3 times 7 is 21, 3 times 8 is 24. So yes, 3 is a factor. So I need to put 3 on my list and its pair. 3 times 8 is 24, so I got to put 3 and 8 on my list. Move on. Is 4 a factor of 24? Well, 4 times something? Yes. 4 times 6, we know, is 24. So I'm going to put 4 on my list and 6. That's its pair. Is 5 a factor of 24? No. 24 does not end with a 0 or a 5. So 5 is not a factor. At this point, we don't need to go any farther. Why not? Exactly. We don't have to ask ourselves, is 6 a factor? Because 6 is already on the list. Okay, so we know, we can be pretty confident here that we have all of the factors of 24. And I'm going to double check and make sure that I got all of the pairs. They should all be paired up. 1 pairs with 24, 2 pairs with 12, 3 pairs with 8, and 4 pairs with 6. This is called a factor rainbow. That way I can make sure every factor is matched up with this pair, and I'm probably not missing any. Make sure you have these notes and this example copied into your notebooks